Hey guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Superbike 22, and it is time for the winter testing. It's the first test on board the BMW M1000RR, and I am really looking forward to this. We had the challenge of using the Kawasaki last season, which, as you know, went extremely well, but this time, from the German manufactured bike, this one could be a lot more challenging, and I'm certainly expecting it to be. Now, I think we've already seen the reveal from the BMW already, but this is the bike I'll be using for the season. A big thank you to Surgeon23 for still using the same number from last year, which of course he made, and this season's helmet, which I think is probably the best helmet he's made for me, so really love this one. Link in the description below if you want to see the shorts where I announced the BMW bike, or at least did the little bit of a reveal. So if you want to see a better look of our rider on board the bike and board the BMW, you can take a look in that short there. But failing that, I'll post some pictures on the community post anyway. So first and foremost, apologies for my voice in this one. It does sound a little bit bunged up. I don't know why, but I seem to have got another sort of bug. Whether it's just a cold or something, I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't feel too bad, but also at the same time I couldn't really do another hard commentary session today, so something more chilled, something more relaxed. But it's all about today learning the BMW M1000RR, and we do have 3 packages available, and of course we are going to start with package number 1. This is pack 1, and as you can see on the screen on the right hand side there, it's a very basic middle of the line engine. Nothing too much from one side or nothing too less on the other. A pretty standard set, a very even keeled BMW right now in the terms of the engine. Now regarding the components, we're looking at a better reactive M1000RR. Now I can't say for certain that I know a difference because of course I haven't tried the other 2 packages yet, but I'm a little bit concerned for the tyre consumption. I would like to be favouring more on that. There was a lot of races last season where we used the SCX tyre, and that seemed to work out very well. Using the SC0, even the SC1 in Superbike 22 doesn't give me a good chance of a good race, and maybe that's this season's changing point. Maybe we've got to look into that and try and improve our times with the harder option tyres. I guess we'll figure it out as we go, but for now, that is package 1. We will be looking at roughly, 5 laps per package unless we crash. So 5 laps, maybe 6, depending how we feel. If I'm on a good run, then I'll probably consider doing more. But this is all about learning the BMW. Already, I can tell you, it feels different. It feels very unique. All of the bikes do in Superbike 22. I think Milestone did a great job of making each bike really stand out from the others. And I think the BMW is going to be rather challenging this season. It will have some benefits compared to the satellite Kawasaki that we started last season with, because this is a full factory bike, so I am able to do upgrades quicker with a more fledged headquarters. I do believe this is already a level 2 headquarters rather than the Kawasaki that we had to start off with level 1. So I do recall the upgrades being rather slow in the first season, but this is the second season. Factory rider for the first time, of course. World champion with the Kawasaki. Would love to do it with the BMW, but so far the lap times have not been particularly impressive. We're improving now going into the Tour VIP, but we need to be roughly aiming for 139s, low 140s at the worst, but we really need to get to 139s. I do believe that's where we were with the Kawasaki. So far the Kawasaki is, of course, we spent a whole season on it, and I did declare it my favourite bike for quite a while. I would say that suited my style very much. I'm going to have to adapt and adjust to the power of the M1000RR. It already feels quite aggressive compared to the Kawasaki, but even if this package says better reactivity, I don't feel it to be very nimble. It lacks that manoeuvrability that the Kawasaki had. This is just from first impressions, let's be honest. So early days yet, who knows what's going to happen. Very excited to try this one out, and I'm really keen to get this championship underway because of course we've got MotoGP 22 coming to its conclusion. I am starting another season, not necessarily in MotoGP, but elsewhere, so I do very much look forward to showing you that. So I'll be doing tandem with both Ride 4, Superbike 22 and even MotoGP 22, so it's actually a trio rather than a tandem. But of course, across the line, a small disappointment again, another low 141. Now I have been balancing the games recently for MotoGP, Superbike and Ride 4, so I'm still getting the feeling back for Superbike 22. The last time I did any racing on Superbike was the Danilo Petrucci video, where I raced in Phillip Island doing the practice session. So, actually, fun facts as well, at the end of this video, I think I've already hidden it, but I did make a mistake and still left the nationality as Italian for the custom rider here. Of course, I'm using myself, so I'm British, but I left it on there after doing the Danilo Petrucci, so a bit of clever editing has fixed that. But so far, not particularly impressed with my performance at the moment, so I don't think this is going to be a couple of laps and done video like we did in the MotoGP career mode test. I think this one's going to be a very critical and important test that could be valuable for our races. And you start the season in Superbike 22 with such a difficult circuit. Aragon is a track that I cannot seem to fathom out. I always seem to have a tough time there, whether it be MotoGP or even Superbike, so I am a bit apprehensive about going to the first round in Teruel, so we'll see how it goes. But for now, this is all about the winter test. We've got to find some things that work and figure out what doesn't, and hopefully that'll give us a chance of our best possible point scoring positions in Aragon. So across the line it is an improvement. It's quite a dramatic one, up by 7/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second. That's a pretty good improvement, but we are still in the final position here in 25th, a 10th down behind Oliver Koenig and 1.2 seconds behind Axel Bassani. Now, of course, it is going to be challenging to beat the Ducati Panigale V4Rs. Of course it's going to be. It's one of the best bikes, if not the best bike in the world for Superbike right now. So, challenges ahead of us. Losing 5/10 of a second into the first split. I don't know how we're losing so much time in that first sector, because then we'll go into the next couple of sectors, it'll say like 1.6, but then the gap will only be about 1.2. Bit hard to work out, but you can just see the rear tyre on the BMW is just slipping and sliding and moving. Perhaps the DX1 tyre is not the real decision maker for this choice of tyre. Might be incorrect, could be worth trying some other bikes, other tyres. I guess we've got plenty to figure out. I don't know how much I will show for the video, but I'll do so much for the video, and I think I'm going to have to spend some valuable time learning, practicing and spending time with the M1000 to really master its performance and get ready for a long and challenging season. Down by 1.6 into the third sector and back over to the right hand side. We are beginning to improve. I'm seeing a smooth, steady improvement here, but of course we are on heavily worn tyres, so I think let's leave package 1 alone. And now let's take a look at package 2. Across the line it was sadly not an improvement. So moving forwards then, we are now on the second bike. This is package 2. Now package 2 is a little bit different compared to the first package. We have a complete focus on two things. Progressive power output, thus meaning that the acceleration is going to be a smoother experience, less likely to chuck out the rear wheel because the progressive power will be gentle and, as it explains itself, progressive, meaning it'll be a nice smooth acceleration. Now, of course, if I was a heavy-handed player I could still force the rider to high side, but having that progressive power does mean that we could be a little bit slower coming out of some of the corners and even on the straights, depending how quickly we change the gears. So something to bear in mind for the next couple of laps. Component side, this is what I was looking at earlier, this is what I wanted when I was referring to the bikes. Full focus on tyre consumption reduction. So the rear tyres, which is the DX1 that we have now, the SCX in some tracks, and even the SCQ, if we can savour those tyres and prolong the distance of them, we could be in a better shape for some Grand Prix this season. Be an interesting comparison to what we did last year on board the Kawasaki, so I'm very keen to see what the differences are between these two bikes. but I am positive to think that we are trending in a direction of having one focus rather than no focus at all. Having an even setup bike is not something I'd really prefer to have. I would much prefer to have a focus on one side, experience the weaknesses that we have, and benefit and double down on those strengths. So let's remove the graphic and get across the line. It's a 1:44.01, so that is actually our fastest lap yet. The smoother, more controlled, responsive bike does seem to be a little bit more effective so far, so that's a positive. That's a good change. Having that focus on one thing is certainly better than having a balanced bike from what I discussed earlier on. But one thing to mention, yes, we are pretty solid upon the exit of the corners, we do have that smoothness, but the reactivity, the bike doesn't feel like it wants to turn in. We went deep into the Tour VIP there, but we did improve quite a lot into that first split, but there's just something missing from this one, that lack of reactivity that we had in Pack 1, or at least we had a lot of reactivity in Pack 1, but the comparison to Pack 2 is there is a lack thereof. So it doesn't feel like it wants to manoeuvre in some of these corners, and the progressive braking and the trail braking for some corners is where it may not be that effective, because you need that reactivity, you need that nimbleness, you need that sort of quick movements sometimes in certain tracks. Tracks like San Juan or Mandalika desperately require really tight manoeuvres and to be done at fast-paced speeds. So I do really miss the reactivity side of the first package, but we are on a pretty decent lap here, so this could be a 1:39 potentially, or it could be close enough to. We'll soon see as we go on the right hand side. As you see, the rear tyre not skipping out as much with the progressive output, but I don't really notice any improvements for the tyres. Something to pay attention to as we go through this one. But across the line, it is our fastest lap yet, 1:39.841, so we are trending in the right direction, currently in 16th spot, 7.5 tenths of a second down to Jonathan Ray's lap time. But now into the difficult right-hander for Dlagos for turn 3, and we've just dropped the front. Package 2, unfortunately, is going to go back into the garage for a quick repair and possibly a new facelift. So this time it's package number 3. Now this one really has piqued my interest. Having the full improvement to power, the full focus, dedication to increase power has certainly caught my eye. When we changed the Kawasaki's package mid-season last season, we did go for the increased package, and it did have quite an improvement for my riding for the rest of the season, so I'm inclined to go for that just because of what happened last season. So I'm going to put a lot of focus on the third package now, and it also has something that's very important. There's something I've been looking for, and that is that tyre consumption reduction. If we get that reduction and we can use the SCX to its completion, the SCQ, without really falling off in the Super Bowl sessions, that could mean some pretty solid results for us. We've seen Alvaro Bautista using the SCX in Mandalika recently, and of course that paid out extremely well. Is it going to happen the same way for us? I do hope so. I always opt to choose the SCX or the DX1 or some sort of variant of the softer rear tyre, so I'm really keen to see how this one goes. So far, this is the package I've been looking forward to, so I'm keen to see what we can do. So for the next couple of laps, I'm going to go into pretty much just practice mode. See what we can do with the M1000RR. Maybe towards the end of the video, we'll start doing those qualifying pace lap times. But for now, I just want to improve the position. Being down to 16th is certainly not filling me with confidence. We are the world champion, and being in 16th is certainly not looking good on the resume. So first lap, improvement already. 1:39.734. Now this bike does suffer from the same thing that package 2 did, and that is a lack of reactivity. And there are a few points where, yeah, it doesn't want to turn in as much as package number 1 did, but it just makes me yearn for a package that had a balance of reactivity as well as the tyre consumption. Now I mentioned earlier I'd rather have one or the other, but I would have liked to test it just for a comparison. So far we've had 2 focuses on the tyre consumption and only 1 on reactivity, and I did quite like the first bike's reactivity, so can't take pieces from the others, but it's something to bear in mind if we want to test things. But as you can see already, the difference with the progressive acceleration compared to now. It does look a little bit squirrely, a little bit aggressive compared to what we were doing. However, something to mention, that could just be the way we really need to ride this. Being on the limit. It's what we did with the Kawasaki and it yielded great results. So maybe that is the key. Ride aggressively, ride hard, and push, giving 120%. Just give everything. And hopefully then we can see some good results. But so far, 139.7 is, it's not the end of the world. This would probably put us around, you know, 10th place maybe in a qualifying session. I don't really know. The AI can be awkward in this game. Free practice 1, they can put in some pretty basic lap times. Free practice 2, they go hell to leather. And then 3 kind of balances out. But dropping back into the 140s there, that's something I'm trying to avoid. I'm yet to really try the other tyres as of yet. SC1 on the front, DX1 on the rear. Could possibly try the SC1. Or maybe even the D2. We'll give it a try after a couple more laps here. I'm quite content with putting in lap times with the M1000 at this stage of the winter test. We still have more than an hour of this testing remaining. Up by, or down by 0.2 of a second into the Tour VIP. So that's a good sign, but we seem to lose a dramatic amount of time from Samsung corner onwards. So of course here into turn 8. Ooh, eager on the acceleration. See the rear tyre just slip ever so slightly there. A bit of a wheelie going over the hill. And then down to the left hand side for the Craig Jones. This is where the confidence is not quite there yet. I'm still struggling getting used to the brakes for Superbike 22. I want to hit hard on the brakes, but unfortunately there, you go hard on the brakes in Superbike 22 and you're down, my friend. So just be careful there. But now into the left hand side for 13. That is deep. We were looking pretty good on this lap, to be honest with you, so that is a shame. We're trending possibly higher than Hafiz Siren or even Luca Bernardi. Of course, 2 riders, one of them still in Superbike, of course. Luca Bernardi not in Superbike anymore. So if we get another Superbike game, I don't think he'll be in there in 14th place again. So charging down the back straight. Careful of the small wheelie over the bump there, but across the line, is it an improvement? It isn't, but we only lost a small smidge. So let's have a look at the other tyre then. This one, this time, it's going to be the D2 front. We've tried the SC1, seems happy enough, but the D2 maximises that corner feeling. So since we have a reducement, since there's a reduction of reactivity with this particular package, I want to see what the difference is now if we include a tyre that does help with that feeling throughout the corner. I know such tracks like Assen, there's a D4 tyre, and I always find that that tyre is the tyre to go to. It's the go-to tyre of Assen. Always helps me in the corners, helps me get the braking markers going into some of the difficult trail braking markers and zones. So I do have a small hunch that the development tyres could be the way to go here. Now we haven't used any of the rear tyre. I think I'm going to have to spend some more time playing around with that, but for now, judging probably what I would use on a normal race day, DX1, SCX, SC1 or D2 front. Yeah, it's looking pretty much what we would use, so for the purpose of the video I'm happy to demonstrate these couple of bikes and couple of packages, and then we'll see what happens on my own. If anything changes or if I decide to go with something different, then I'll certainly let you know, but for now I like the way package number 3 feels, and this lap is looking quite promising. From a visual perspective, we messed it up there going into the gallop. Oh, we were on our fastest lap yet there. But from a visual and aesthetic side, it does look like the rear tyre is slipping and sliding a little bit more than any of the other packages. So it's something to bear in mind. I'm disappointed we messed that up there. We did look really promising in the sense of a sector time, because most of the times we were down by 1.2, 1.3, and across the line it was down to about 7/10. So if we could have been up by another 2/10 there, possibly into the top 15, maybe top 12. I am hoping to get to the top 10, but most importantly I'm hoping to be the top BMW. Losing time in the first split there, that's not ideal. Didn't look like I went particularly late, but I know into the Primera corner we were a bit sluggish. May consider changing some of the electronics. I know a few times last year I did change the electronics more so for the engine brake side. I changed that from the 3 to the 4. Originally when I first started Superbike 22 I was implored to use 3, and I thought, okay, I'll use 3, maybe that's the key to it all, but I'm recalling recently I used 4, and I felt that the bike was a bit better under braking, so I'm going to try that, figure it out, and see what we can come up to. But for now, this is all guessing, understanding, and learning, and this is the most exciting part. And to have Superbike 22, which challenges me and makes me really push and work hard, it's a nice change from MotoGP 22. But also with the next season I have available for MotoGP 22, you'll notice that it's also pretty challenging with the AI at 120% difficulty. So we've got 2 very exciting seasons coming up, ladies and gentlemen. As unfortunately we did dip back into the 140s there, but look at that consistency. Granted, they might not be the best lap times, but very consistent pace. All deviating within a tenth or 2. This is solid. Now, Portimao has never been my favourite track, and it certainly has never been my most impressive venue for the races. I think we actually was very successful here in MotoGP, but when it comes to Superbike 22, Portimao is not my thing. I find it very difficult here in the Algarve. I don't dislike the track by any way, shape or form. It's a fantastic circuit, but it doesn't appreciate me. So I am expecting myself to be quite low down. Not this low down. I am hoping to improve upon that. But for now and for everything else, I'm looking roughly where I need to be, because I don't think us being 16th here is indicative of what's going to happen for the entire season. When we go to the likes of Assen, Estoril, Mazzano, it'll be a different story, and I do suspect we could be seeing a BMW win in either Assen or Estoril. I'm going to put my name into the hat there as a little bit of a hunch. I hope I don't spoil it for myself, and I hope I don't jinx myself either, which is very likely of happening. But that's where I'm feeling, especially right now at the stage of the season. But final couple of thoughts then before we finish these laps. Let me know what you want me to do with the sorts of videos for Superbike 22. I am thinking about doing race 1 for a separate video, and then Superpole and race 2 on a separate. Bit similar to copying real life Superbike, of course, with Saturdays being race 1 and Sundays hosting Superpole and race 2. Let me know what you think about that. If you would prefer a full 30+ minute video, then let me know. If you're more so for the favour of doing race 1 and then race 2 and the Superpole afterwards, then let me know. I think doing race 1 and separating that would make my life a little bit easier, but it's more important to know what you guys want, and that's the most important part. So let me know what you think, and maybe I'll do another poll like we did last season. But for now, I'm happy to read the comments and take what you guys think from it. So we've got that for now. I appreciate that some of you guys enjoy the longer videos, and then some of you not so much. I don't really mind either way, but it is easy to make short videos, of course. But I like to chat, as you know. But into the Portimao corner, a bit firm on the brakes there for turn 10. Because unfortunately, I don't think we're going to improve, and I think that's the end of this tyre and the DX1 as well. So I do believe there's a lot more potential in this one yet, but I'm going to have to spend some time testing all the tyres, spending the time using the bike. I haven't changed any of the settings. So regarding suspension, I've kept that pretty much to what I was using with the Kawasaki. Find it works well for all of the bikes. Maybe I'll have a tweak, but for now, I'm quite content. So guys, this will be the conclusion of the winter testing for us. So across the line we will go, and it will not, sadly not, be an improvement, but once again another high 139 lap time. So before we conclude the video, a quick look on screen will see a lot of package number 3s in there. Pretty much a 3 lockout. So I think I'm going to pick package number 3. Let me know what package you guys would have chosen in the comment section down below. I'm going to go for package 3. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and I guess that's it from me. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure to make this video for you. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment and subscribe, and even consider becoming a member of the DrAce pit crew. You can join the channel with the join button on somewhere on YouTube. So guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Ciao for now. Oh hi! Didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.